Are you a fan of using sliders? We have a brand new slider plate in our store, and it's a two-rail system so that you can add bigger items to your cards and they stay upright when they're sliding. I'll be making a full card for you to show you how everything works, and this is a birthday card where the happy birthday and balloons slide up from the Make-A-Wish sentiment. But first things first, I'm starting off creating a background using our tin tile stencil, and I'm using Cadette, Violet, and Surf Positively Saturated inks along with our blending brushes. I've also used the Make-A-Wish die, and that has a really nice shadow background so that you can have a solid piece for your card. These were die cut with white cardstock, and then I ink blended the same colors on the words. So the slider plate will fit perfectly just behind here, so this will help me conceal my message from underneath. I've also made an arrangement with some balloons and a sentiment strip, and for the balloons I used the Simon Says Stamp balloon dies and cut up my message, and this will also fit right on top of the slider plate once I put everything together. Next I want to figure out about where I want the slider plate to be cut onto my cardstock, and I'll use Simon Says Stamp low tech tape to hold this in place while I die cut. And now I can peel away the die, and I'm going to reserve these little channels from the die cut. Next, I'll be using some gliders to create my sliding mechanism. There are two different kinds. First is the up and down and just the sliding type, and then there's also the rotating type, so it will turn. I recommend the rotating one for this project, so you don't have to worry about the direction of your gliders. The next thing I've done is added a little bit of our red line tape to the top of those gliders. Now I can feed this into the channel and pop in both sides. So I start with one side, push it in, grab the paper, and slide that right into the glider. Now I want to add a connector between the two, and this is where that reserved paper from that channel comes in play. So I can just suspend this right between those two gliders and press it down. And now both of the gliders will move together with that connector piece. I like to add a little bit of weight to my slider by using either a penny or a washer. So the two channels are there, and we also have a little pull tab, and this is just a little circle that says pull. And for this I'm going to add some glue to it just on the one side, and then I can add it to the top of my balloons to where it'll be visible from the top. With all my pieces ready to go, I'm adding a strip of red line tape across that connector piece that sits between those gliders. And now I've removed the backing to the red tape, and I can press down my balloons in place. And now by using my Make-A-Wish sentiment, I will figure out where I want the balloon to end when it goes down to the bottom. And by using a couple of foam squares just at the bottom, I can create a stopper. So I'm going to put a small one to the left, and I'm going to be doubling up on these since it'll need to sit a little bit higher than the balloons and the gliders to be effective as a stopper. And then with my double layer of foam squares in place, I can give this a test and make sure that it works as a stopper. I'm adding a couple strips of our foam tape roll, and I've cut that in half, and I'm doubling up on these and putting them on each side to where they'll straddle the slider mechanism without interfering. And now I can remove the backing of all of the foam tape and squares to stick this down in place. The next important thing to do is to add some foam squares and foam tape to the back, and you want to make sure that you lift this up so that those gliders can move freely when you're mounting this to some cardstock. So I have some strips of tape and also some foam squares since those are the same height, and I'm just removing the center ones. And now I can center this onto an A2 lavender card base and press down the center. And now all I need to do is to remove the backing from the outside strips, and here is my finished slider card. I hope I've given you some helpful tips and tricks on how to use our slider plate from Simon Says Stamp. It's the perfect size for creating cards with a slider element with a little bit bigger message and arrangement to go underneath. I do have some of the supplies listed in the description box below, and as always, thanks so much for watching.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at SimonsSaysStamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.